Hi, friends. It's Dr. Erica Jones with the Art of Transition podcast. And as you know, we typically let our guests introduce themselves. If you don't know, this particular guest has been on before. That is an audio version of the podcast when we first started out, and we're evolving. So now we're on the visual, virtual platforms. And here we go. We're gonna see
Yeah.
what you gotta say about yourself this time. How your introduction changes. Go ahead and introduce yourselves to our viewers.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so hi again, guys. My name's Elle. Um, I am about to be sworn in soon, so I will be like licensed and I am on my way to starting my own um IP practice, focusing on trademarks and copyright. And I'm trying to be the lawyer that I need for myself. So a lawyer for creatives and entrepreneurs.
Woohoo! Let's go. I'm so very proud of you.
Thank you.
So I wanted to have this conversation with you because I feel like, we're both creators. When people talk about, one of the main things and one of the main pieces of advice um, to take and to listen to, I heard it so much like you got to kind of reach beside you. You got to reach laterally instead of reaching up and trying to get someone to help you. So looking at, your peers around you who are doing similar things. And I really applaud what you're doing as an attorney, as a podcast host, as like a brand creator. And it's been very inspirational because when I first, saw what you had going on, I thought your brand was just for people who are interested in law. But now I
Mhm.
see, like, look at this shirt you have on. Like they love our rhythm, but they can't handle
Yeah.
our blues. Like it's
Mhm.
expanding beyond the realm of law. So we both sit at this intersection of professionalism and creativity. So I thought the people would love to hear about it.
Yes, I'm so happy you mentioned the shirt because especially with everything that's been going on, the recent Rittenhouse trial and then the Arbery killing trial.
Yeah.
I think it's important to highlight how just like this shirt, I created it like at the height of, last year's protests about George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. And it literally just came from a conversation that I was having with one of my former classmates about how, people outside of Black people, so other ethnicities, not just referring to Caucasians, they really love our creativity, our swag, like our culture. And so they're down for the culture until it's actually time to be down for the culture.
Mm, got you. Got you.
So that's how this, like, they love our rhythm, but they can't handle our blues came in.
Got you. Yeah, I definitely am excited about seeing more people, more brands come out and just, become allies in terms of and provide more empowerment for our community. And I wanted to bring into the conversation, recently we learned that our dear Virgil Abloh recently passed away of cancer. Rest in creativity, Virgil. Rest in love, rest in peace. And this man also sat at the intersection of just so many different, you know, places. And one of the things that he wanted to do was empower Black youth. He
Mhm.
wanted to take up space where he was. And one of the things that people may not know about Virgil is that he actually was formally trained as an engineer. Like he was not
Mhm.
formally trained as a designer. And this man has inspired. I see you got the dunks right there in the background, the off-white, Virgil has like,
There they go.
yeah, there you go. Virgil has inspired so many of us. And I just wanted to talk to you particularly about how you manage like sitting at this intersection and balancing your creativity and your professional life. And tell the
Very
people the name of your brand as well, and where they can go so they can kind of understand what we're talking about.
Yes. So my brand is called Shop El Kama Woods. I go by El Kama Woods, which started as a joke and then just morphed into its own little life. And now here we are a few years later. Um, so kind of similar to Virgil, like I I don't have, well, actually, I do have a little bit more of a creative background. Like I used to dance as a kid and I was always into drawing and things like that. But like once I decided I was going to be an attorney, I just kind of thought I had to lay all of the artistic and creative parts of me down by the riverside.
Mm.
And then I want to say like the middle of my first year slash second year of law school, I got really like heavily into makeup and started freelancing, and that kept me sane
Oh
throughout
wow.
law school. Oh, honestly, if it wasn't for that, I
I
don't
did
know.
not know you were into makeup.
Yeah, so I did freelance makeup for like a good 4 years. It kept me sane, and it was a little extra play money throughout law school, but like I started to kind of realize that I didn't have to just disregard other interests in other parts of myself to be whatever kind of attorney I wanted to be.
Mm, nice, nice.
And
So
I
you
think
had,
I kind of incorporate everything that I like into my brand. And I plan on incorporating the creativity part of me into my firm.
I can't wait to see what you got in store for us. And I think a lot of times, people don't understand what goes into just the creative process. And then once you have the idea, like there's a whole nother big box of execution that you got to package up and then, have that to present as a gift of value to the people. Even
Yes.
just, for example, setting up this podcast interview via Zoom. Like I didn't realize that in order to be able to stream this to, Facebook and YouTube, you got to have a certain type of Zoom account. Then you got to link
Mhm.
the Zoom to the Facebook and all of that stuff. So just the complexities of it all, and then, you setting time aside and then me setting time aside. This is a valuable conversation in itself.
Yes, because you are a whole doctor, globe-trotting doctor,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
but you're
I
also a writer too. And so I know that you've gotten, awards for just your writing. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I started writing maybe, I don't know, I might have been like 6 or 7. And my mom noticed that I had the talent. So she started actually entering me in these different oratorical contests where we would like write different things and then we would go up and recite them. So I've been winning oratorical contests and literally Verizon. So my mom used to work for Verizon and they had scholarship awards available for high school students. And I would just submit my essays, and I guess they were good enough because I ended up with scholarships from Verizon just based off of my writing. So
I
shout out
love
to
that.
Verizon, for helping to fund my undergraduate education. And I've been writing ever since. And when you think about, telling someone's story or getting a story from someone who is sick, and then being able to portray that into a medical note, that's essentially, listening to a story that someone has, putting that together, and then trying to figure out, okay, well, what is really going on with their body, right? Figuring that out and then relaying that onto a medical note and then ordering more labs and things like that. It just really goes back to the critical thinking that it takes to compose a writing piece. So
Mhm.
I feel like everything in my life just flows, and even from medicine, just being able to do patient interviews and extract information has now, that skill is crossed over to the podcast, to the Art of Transition podcast, that we're on
Mhm.
right now. So a lot of what I think we learn in life and the skills that we learn in life are transferable if we make them transferable.
Agreed.
Instead of, back in the day, you would see different stories where people would ask a kid, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? I think that sometimes we would think like in a monolithic way, right? But
Hmm.
those days are gone.
Oh yeah, especially like for the really, really small kids. Like one of my nephews wants to be an engineer, a firefighter, and I think a superhero or something too. And I'm like, okay, you can do it all. Go for it, kid. But like that was
Exactly.
unheard of as we were growing up because it's just like, okay, if you want to be a doctor, great. That's what you do. That's all you do. But now we're kind of I like to think of us as like the game changers. So like we've made it okay to just not be a one trick pony.
Yeah, yeah. I love the way you put that. We are no longer any one trick ponies around here.
Nah, we have multiple interests, multiple hustles, and it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, even just thinking about the inspiration that, one can get from someone like Virgil Abloh. Virgil was an engineer, an artist, a DJ, a designer. Like he had partnerships with IKEA, like furniture stores. Like just his reach was expansive, and his art is just going to continue to live on. And I'm just going
Hmm.
to continue to like in my mind, okay, this might be hard. That's all right. Nobody might know me right now, but guess what?
Y'all
It's
will.
coming. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
I think even just and this is just me speculating, but like even just the addition of the zip tie and just like the very structured way that some of his clothing was, like the utility belt, like that to me is just like, maybe he was bringing in some of his engineering background because engineering can be
mm,
very rigid and like very like structured. Maybe he was
yeah,
trying to bring that into fashion.
yeah. And the way he would break down a shoe and then rebuild it with just a few minor, tweaks, but you still know that's Virgil's work. You know,
Right.
I can only hope that I will leave that type of impact on the world with my writing, with the podcast, with the interviews.
Hmm.
When you think
I think
about
so.
your brand and what you're building, at first I want to say when I was looking at your products, it seemed to be mostly geared towards law. But now it's like, okay, well, she's expanding.
Hmm.
Okay, all right. Now we got. I saw that you have some candles that are sold out. Are they almost sold out?
Almost, they're almost gone. There's only one left now.
Wow. So can you speak for a moment just about what it takes to expand your brand and how you decide, like, okay, I'm gonna try something new. How you get the courage to try something new, like expansion.
I still don't know how you get the courage. I'm kind of really just winging it and just like, okay, I like this. Let's see if other people like it. So
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of just like throwing stuff at the wall and we'll see what sticks. And apparently the candles are sticking.
Okay.
But like what made me want to expand is because besides being a lawyer or like in the legal field, I'm just a regular little girl from the Bronx. And
No.
so
You're not regular, attorney L. L.
I
Woods.
I'm thinking I'm just like, regular little girl from the Bronx and like a lot of my friends, like my childhood friends, they're not in law. Like some of them are working with the postal service, some of them have gone on to do like fashion, some have become engineers. So it's just like I have like a very diverse group well, different groups of friends. And of course they want to support, but it's just like you don't know what a tort is. You might think it's a pastry because you're
Yeah.
not in law. And so I kind of wanted to bridge that gap like, okay, well, you know, this t-shirt, anyone can use it, anyone can wear it, and it conveys the same message as it would be conveying from me in the legal field, and to you in the medical field, and to my fashion designer friend over here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I really kind of have been focusing on. So like even with the candles, the first one is called Sage Over Rage. Everyone can relate to, wanting to go off or like lose your cool, but deciding I'm gonna chill, I'm gonna be zen.
Exactly.
So choosing to sage instead of rage. So I think I try to like literally stay right in the middle. So like not too far into being a creative that I forget or like alienate my core customer, because at the end of the day, my core customer are people who are also in law. Uh-oh.
Got it. Got
My
it.
com- my computer is lagging. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
What is going on here?
Elle, we were talking about, just remaining relevant to your core audience and, expanding your products to be able to reach all people. Um, how do you think that a law student, who is just kind of scared and unsure of what to think or where to go, like how do you recommend they move forward past any fears that they may have?
Close your eyes and do it. Like it sounds way easier than it is, but
Hmm.
literally if you have something that you're super passionate about, but you think it's unlawyerly or unprofessional, chances are it's probably not. And again, this generation, the generation after us, we are game changers. So it's okay to step outside of the typical lawyer box and set your own trend and have interests that are outside of criminal procedure.
Yeah, yeah,
Like close your eyes and just do it, and like don't internalize the negative things that people may say, because I mean I've gotten plenty of backlash. Like I used to film makeup tutorials, and it's just like, why are you focused on that? Aren't you a law student? It's like, well, who said I had to just choose one? I'm a firm believer that you can have whatever you want as long as you work for it.
yeah, for
So
sure,
work
for
for
sure.
it.
Yeah, I actually published my first book in my first year of residency. And I got some of the same questions where, oh, we didn't know you were a writer. Like, why are you publishing books? It's like, well, this is my passion. So, although, yes, I am a physician, I finished med school. I'm now in residency. You can still do the things that you like to do. And writing has been therapy for me. It's been a hobby for me. So now I'm actually promoting, writing more. Like I have journals that are out right now. The Art of
Hmm.
Transition journal is available right now, and it just is a product that's geared towards expressing yourself,
Hmm.
towards taking care of yourself. That's available on Amazon. So when you think about where you want to go, I really love what you said. Just close your eyes and do it. And that's sometimes, a lot of times, you just have to figure things out along the way.
Hmm.
Like there's no manual for the things that we're doing right now.
No, because we are the trendsetters. Like we're just making stuff up as we go. And it's just like, okay, we may stumble, we may fail, we may not be as, popping as we would like to be, but we're doing things that people in the past would never have done. Like you very rarely would have seen a doctor creating a journal.
Yeah.
Like I've heard of doctors writing like medical journal articles, but like not an entirely like separate journal to just express yourself and like get to know yourself better. That would be unheard of like 30 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. happy to be doing it. I'm happy to be on this Zoom with you right now and doing another
Same.
podcast episode. You're just, I learn something new about you every time. And I think, you're going to inspire millions of people, Elle.
I hope so.
So
I hope so.
how do people find you, find your products, and tap into your movement?
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram, Twitter at Elcomma Woods, ELLECOMMAWOODS. Um, then my shop is called Shop Elcomma Woods, so you can just type that in on Instagram as well. And then the website is shop-ecw.com. But if you Google Shop Elcomma Woods, I'll come up.
Okay, all right.
I'm Googleable.
Yes. Well, thank you, Attorney L, again for your time and for sharing this virtual space with myself and with the viewers. Can't wait to do it again.
Yes, thank you for having me.